If you finish meetings feeling absolutely exhausted, even though all you did was talk, this video is going to be for you. Hi, I'm Molly, a voice and communications coach, and I work a lot with second language English speakers and professionals who feel as though they are working overtime to be understood. Maybe you're listening to this and you relate to this idea that your jaw gets tight, the breath gets shallow, and by the end of the day, you feel like you've run a marathon and you can feel your voice starts to go and it starts to croak. This is all about vocal stamina. And I want to teach you today how we can stop overworking our voice to be understood and start trusting that we don't need to work harder, we just need to work smarter. So let's talk about overexertion. There's kind of this invisible pressure when you try to be understood, and that pressure shows up in the body. So you might start to push your words forward, overpronounce every syllable, lock your jaw, tighten your throat, force your breath. And it's totally understandable on why this happens. You want clarity. You want control, you want to be taken seriously. But here's the catch, and this is the frustrating part, that extra effort that you're putting in doesn't always equal clarity. In fact, it often leads to less natural rhythm, less vocal color or emotion, and far more fatigue. And worst of all, you feel disconnected from yourself. You don't feel like you can perform actually at your best. Clarity is not about cranking that effort dial all the way up to 100. It's actually about letting the system work the way it was designed to. Did you know, and I might be proven wrong with this, but there's a big saying that babies cannot lose their voices. Like they just can't, unless they're kind of physically tied down in car seats or, restricted in some way. And that's because babies are using their whole body the way it was designed to, and they are so connected with impulse. They're so connected to what their needs are and what they want that they haven't yet learned these social norms for us as adults to get in the way of what we really want by overexerting or by pronouncing it in a certain way or thinking about the most polite way through things. So if you're finding yourself in a point of overexertion, we're going to learn from babies here, and we're going to try to bring it back to what the body does best without you getting in the way. Now, often this actually starts with the parts of the body that we're not even aware where we're holding tension from: the jaw, the tongue, and the throat. And those areas are tight, which they are quite a lot of the time. We cut ourselves off from our natural speaking range. We lose our rhythm, we lose our tone, we lose our warmth in our voice. That's not because we're bad speakers. It's actually because our body is programmed to do that, because it's going into that survival mode as soon as that high pressure is on, or as soon as we're in this habitual place of speaking as if we need to protect ourselves through it. Let's try a few things together. Now, the first one is called a silent yawn or a secret yawn. So I'd like you to imagine, when you're yawning in front of someone and you don't want to be rude, so you kind of allow this mini yawn in the back of the throat to happen, and it's almost like, oh, I'm actually going to yawn now. And it's almost like I'm trying to hide the fact I'm yawning from you. So this is actually opening up the soft palate which lives in the back of the throat, and so I'm literally fighting my body's natural urge to constrict like this, and I'm just opening it up. And that is naturally just allowing. It's also actually the same feeling that you might use to pop your ears on an aeroplane. It's just allowing it to open gently, no sound, letting the space expand. Now already you might find that your jaw actually starts to feel more open. Breath might drop. The throat is opening up. The next thing I'd like you to do is imagine that by the sides or the bottom of your lower mandible here. Now bear in mind, when I'm doing this, I'm not bringing my head to my hands, I'm bringing my hands to my head. I want you to imagine that you're placing almost weights here, and the weights are just allowing the jaw to drop down. Just allowing the jaw to become heavier. Oh, and you might find there's a little bit of a stretch here. Now I'm not opening my mouth, I'm not going, yeah, because that would be almost like I'm imagining this hinge. Instead, I'm imagining the back of the jaw is opening. Good. Now, I'd like you to take the tip of the tongue and we're going to almost clean our teeth, like so. But as I'm doing this, I'm making sure I'm sustaining that space that I found in the throat and the jaw. So thinking about that yawn, thinking about that heaviness. Good, and then take a sigh for me. And I'd like you to just hum on a relaxed Good, and you just go in whatever pitch is natural to you. but make sure you're releasing space. Now, you've just found a pitch that is comfortable for your voice to sit at. Usually what happens is we speak a lot higher than actually what's comfortable, or maybe some of you speak a lot lower than what's comfortable. But your body, when you think about that, releasing everything here, and you release the breath and you release the jaw, and you just allow that, what if I was to speak at this pitch? Now, for a lot of you, that might sound a lot deeper than what you'd usually do. For me, it's definitely deeper than what I'd usually do. Maybe it's not. Maybe it depends on where I'm at. But what would happen if you spoke like that for 70% of the time? If you try to level your pitch. Some of you, it may be higher than what you've actually been doing. But you're finding and listening to your own body, the own space that your body has, and you're finding this pitch that feels easeful for you to speak at. Now that will literally help you sustain your voice because you're not pushing your voice to speak at a pitch that it's not comfortable in. So we have secret yawn, releasing the jaw, finding that pitch, and see if you can speak with that pitch. And you can literally try it on a piece of text now. Speak it without any adjustments, just as you normally would. Then try to find a pitch that feels more sustainable. And let me know in the comments how you get on. So once we've built this voice that feels supportive rather than strained, we now want to think about articulation without effort. Clarity is not effortful, it is rhythmic. And I've spoken about this before in different videos, but I will say it again and again and again. It's relaxed, it's easeful, it is not about effort, despite what your body might want to do as soon as I mention articulation. You do not have to power on every sentence like you are rushing to the finish line, or like you're trying to prove to people that you're not finished speaking. The more you rush, the more likely your message is going to get lost. You're going to try to slow down your pace by gesturing inwards for me. Now, this actually is an exercise that comes from Barbara Hausman, the forward circle and backward circle. And I think originally it comes from more Qigong practices. And that's the idea that if I'm in an environment where I'm gesturing forwards all the time, you can see my body's coming forwards, you can hear my voice lighten, and you can also hear me rushing through because my whole energy is coming outwards, outwards, outwards. If I instead think about gesturing inwards, then it's a lot easier to slow my voice down because I'm thinking about me and I'm thinking about me in this space. So practice a few sentences for me, whether that is, hi, my name is Molly, it is Tuesday, and I am filming at the moment. And try to gesture inwards and see if it makes it easier to slow down. And you'll find that clarity comes from that pace shift rather than trying to overwork the muscles. When you speak at this regular or regulated pace, your body stays regulated, your nervous system stays regulated, and your listener gets more time to actually comprehend and process what it is that you are trying to say. If you find yourself pushing through the sound or tumbling on or bulldozing through, and watch back presentations to assess yourself with this, then of course the signal you're sending to your system is we are in a rush, we need to go, 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 go. So of course your voice is going to be strained, because remember, the first thing your system does when it notices that adrenaline is go into survival mode, which means that your throat will start to clear up. So literally speaking at a slower pace signals to our system, I'm okay, I'm safe, you don't need to close up, I need you to help me speak rather than survive. And this is what's going to help allow you to sustain yourself through meeting after meeting after meeting, or show after show if you are a performer. Remember guys, these techniques come from actor training. Actors do 8 shows a week. They need this work. And I don't know why it's only actors who learn this stuff, because as CEOs, business people, you are speaking just as much as actors are. And even though you might not be in theatre spaces, a lot of you still need to have that same impact, which requires a lot of energy. So do not skip over these really essential steps to help your vocal stamina. So if you are ready to stop performing every sentence like it is a test, I have got you, okay? You can book in a discovery call with me down below to see if you'd be interested in one-to-one sessions. I also have a weekly newsletter where you hear more musings, more findings from real clients that I'm working with in real time. And I also have free online courses through my Skillshare in the link description below if you'd like to have a glimpse of how these exercises work in conjunction with another, and let me know in the comments below what else you would like me to cover. Remember, you don't need more effort, you just need to take up more space.